Hi guys, welcome to 5 Minute Book Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at A Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. This story starts off with Shasta, who is a boy who a fisherman found in the ocean, and he basically adopts him and raises him as his own. One day a Calorman noble shows up at the fisherman's house, and the fisherman wants to sell Shasta to the nobleman. Shasta overhears this conversation, and he also discovers that the nobleman's horse is named Bree, and that horse is a Narnian talking horse. The two conspire together and they run away from the nobleman and the fisherman. Along the way they meet another horse named and her rider named Aravis. Shasta and Bree also discover that Wynn is a Narnian talking horse and that Aravis is running away because she's pledged to be married to another Calorman noble that she does not want to marry. The four decide that they want to escape to Narnia, so to do that they have to cross Calorman. Along their journey they're pursued by lions and they're prompted to go into the city of Tashban, which is the capital of Calorman, and there they discover a plot that the Calormans want to take over Archenland and also invade Narnia. They ride out ahead of the cavalry from Calorman, and they get to Archenland in time to warn them against the incoming invasion. The plot is being orchestrated by Readability, who is the son of the Calorman king and also wants to invade Narnia to capture Susan. Readability arrives in Archenland and lays siege to King Lune, who is king of Archenland, but he realizes that they have been alerted to his coming. The battle, however, is a stalemate until reinforcements arrive from Narnia with Edmund and Lucy leading them. Aslan arrives and he turns Readability into a donkey, and he also reveals that he's behind much of what Shasta and Bree have gone through on their journey to get to Archenland. Shasta also discovers that he's the elder of two twin brothers and he is the heir to the throne of Archenland. Eventually he marries Aravis and the two become the rulers of Archenland. This story is definitely my favorite in the Chronicles of Narnia, but I think it has a lot to offer. One of the things that does well is develop three characters really well. Shasta gets a lot of attention in this book because he's the main character, but his character learns a lot along the way about providence in the plot as it unfolds. He also learns of his past and how it was all orchestrated to bring about a greater good. The horse, Bree, also gets a lot of character development in this story, where he's kind of silly to begin with. He has been kind of this noble's horse, and he's lived a rich and very stringent life, but he wants to be free from all that, and he wants to be able to just be himself, and he learns that he can do that and still maintain his dignity through that all. And then there's Aravis, who is dealing with her backstory, which is where she was pledged to marry this other Calorman noble, but she also discovers that she has strength and an identity kind of outside the context of what you would typically see in a nobleman's daughter. She wants to break free from that and also be free. The second reason is this book has some high stakes conflicts which really contribute to the plot of the story, and it also drives it forward, especially the plot around the invasion of Archenland and then Shasta's discovery that he is a prince and he is able to claim the throne of Archenland. The theme of this book is providence, and I think this is a strong theme, and it's woven into the story through the imagery of cats that are prodding along the three main characters to ultimately accomplish their goals. In the end, it's revealed that that was Aslan, who was trying to move them to saving Archenland from the invasion of the Calormans. So let's go ahead and score this one. I give this one a 5 for character development because we get three main characters that each have their arc, they each have their own struggles that they deal with, and we get to see how the providence of Aslan is able to orchestrate those struggles to ultimately bring about the accomplished goals that we see in the end of the story. Each one of them deals with them in different ways and is able to grow through that. This one I also give a 5 for thematic development because I think the theme of this book is providence. It's the primary theme, and this is one that is developed all through the story in the personal arcs of all the characters, as well as a lot of the imagery where you see cats that kind of symbolize Aslan moving them forward and how that prods them along, even though it might be a struggle at times, to ultimately accomplish a greater good. Now for plot development, I give this one a 4, and I think it's a great plot with a lot to offer. The only reason I give it a 4 is because I think the reveal of Aslan being the person behind the providence in the story makes the thematic development a little bit on the nose, and that kind of detracts from the overall effect of the plot. I think you could get that without having to have that kind of dialogue that Aslan has where he kind of reveals that at the end of the story, which to me just kind of makes it kind of takes away from the story rather than adding to it. I think the conflict in this story is spot on. There's multiple levels of conflict. Every character is dealing with some personal struggles that all contribute to the overall plot, which is the primary goal of getting to Narnia and also stopping the plot to prevent the Calormans from attacking Archenland. The setting of this one is fantastic. Again, we get to see a lot of beautiful imagery in the world that is Narnia and the larger world around it, with the deserts of Calormen and the mountains of Archenland and all that goes into that. It really does contribute to the story and add some stakes to the conflict as well. So the last two are readability and entertainment. For readability, I think this book is very readable. You can pick it up and read it in just a short amount of time. The plot really carries you forward, and it really gets engaging because you get to see a lot of different things going on, especially in the background and with the character developments and all the conflict. It was a very quick read and a very enjoyable read for that. And it's also entertaining for a book as well. I think it really can hold the attention of young and old readers, and anybody that's really just wanting a good adventure story that also has some thematically dense content as well. So this one I give a 34 out of a possible 35, and that makes this one probably the highest rated book that I will do in the Chronicles of Narnia. I think it's a fantastic story. It's my favorite one, and I think it really shines above all the other books that C.S. Lewis wrote in this series.